This actually happened to me a few years back at the University of Arts in Philadelphia. My sophomore year, I roomed with a girl named Kara. She was a jazz vocalist, but her main interest was opera. We had a small room on the 6th floor of a dormitory called Juniper Hall. The walls were thin, and her late-night singing and voice practices would keep me up late. After a month or so of lost sleep, I convinced her to move her late-night practices to the music studios in the Merriam Theater building a block away. Around 8 o'clock one evening, Kara announced that she would be practicing late for an upcoming recital and probably wouldn't be home until around midnight. Great, I thought. That means I can go to bed early. I was beat. I had a horrible day in acting studio and was ready to pass out as soon as I had dinner. She said goodnight and left, coffee and sheet music in hand. I made some grilled cheese and soup, gobbled it down, and immediately began to prepare for bed. By the time I got out of the shower, my eyelids were so heavy I could hardly brush my teeth. I pulled on my PJs and crawled into the top bunk of our bunk bed. I was out as soon as my head hit the pillow. I should take a second to describe the layout of our apartment. When entering the apartment, the bedroom was through a door immediately to the left. Our bathroom was inside the bedroom, just past the bunk beds. Yours is nice in the sense that you don't have to share bathrooms. Anyway, I woke up to the sound of the apartment door closing. I opened my eyes and groggily checked my phone. Midnight on the dot. I rolled back over and closed my eyes. I heard Kara enter the room and stop in front of the bunk bed, checking to see if I'm actually asleep, I thought. She flopped down on the bed below me, which was strange, as she was a stickler for brushing her teeth and washing up before bed. Then again, exams were just around the corner, and we were all exhausted. The mattress below me creaked, and then was silent. I couldn't even hear her breathing. I started to drift off again. I was just on the edge of deep sleep when I was startled awake again by a noise, a key in the lock, the door opening, and Kara entering our apartment, humming an opera tune. The mattress below me creaked. I wouldn't say I'm a narcissist, but I have learned how to appreciate my looks, take care of myself, and keep up my looks. I'm not going to have them forever after all. My friends would agree that I have a habit of always looking at my reflection. I was about 21 when this happened. It was my birthday, and my older friends took me out drinking. I had drinks in my teen years, but once I knew I was legal age, my dumbass got drunk. I felt my bladder tighten as I finished another bottle of beer. I groaned at the feeling and excused myself to use the restroom. I stumbled to the bathroom and quickly did what I went there for. As I passed the row of mirrors over the sinks, I frowned as I saw my reflection looking less than neat. I grabbed some paper towels before turning on the water to wash off my ruined makeup. I bent down to splash the cold water onto my face. As I stood straight up, I gasped as I saw my reflection grinning at me before turning and stepping closer to the door. I backed away and rubbed my eyes only to reopen them, seeing my normal reflection. My breathing slowed down as I observed the mirror, and I grinned, shaking my head as I left the bathroom, drawing the reflection up to being just my imagination. Later that night, I was cuddled deep into the blankets on my bed as I tried to nurse my headache from my earlier party. I looked over to the mirror on my closet door. At first all I saw was my reflection, laying down and covered by the blankets. As I started to drift off to sleep, my reflection slowly sat up and walked to the bathroom, which was directly across from the closet mirror. I felt my tiredness seep away as I saw this happen and quickly sat up before running to the bathroom, absolutely psyched out at this point. I sucked in a breath as I flicked on the light, looking around the bathroom until I saw her, My reflection, I mean, in the mirror again. I covered my mouth to silence my screams. There was a man standing behind my reflection, a knife deep embedded into her throat. I felt hot tears run down my cheeks as I saw this, but my eyes grew wide as I felt breathing on the back of my head and something cold and hard hitting my throat. The clock struck midnight. I was on my laptop in my bedroom, browsing through YouTube videos. However, my browsing stopped when my phone vibrated. I saw that I received a text message from my friend, Ben. "Hey man, I'm outside by the back door. Can you let me in?" I knew he was lying. For the last few weekends, he had been messing with me. One weekend he told me he was parked in my cul-de-sac when in reality, he was in his bedroom. The following weekend, he told me he was coming over to hang out. When I came outside to greet him in his car, he floored it out of my neighborhood. I wasn't going to let him get me this time. I sent a reply back. "I know you're just messing with me again." He immediately replied back, "No, I'm being serious this time. I am by the back door." "Nice try. I know you're not there." I placed my phone down and continued my search. About a minute later, my phone vibrated again. "I'm downstairs. Ben, you can't troll me 3 weekends in a row. However, I'll give you an A for effort." I placed my phone down again. I wasn't going to play his little game. As I was about to continue my search, I started to hear something from the deafening silence of my dark house. I faced the doorway behind me and listened closely. It sounded like footsteps, silent footsteps walking around downstairs. It was nerve-wracking. I couldn't believe it. Was my mind tricking with me, or was Ben actually in my house? I grabbed my phone. "Are you joking with me, man?" I continued to listen as my phone vibrated again. "No, I told you I was downstairs, but you didn't believe me." I was quite relieved that it was him, but I was pissed off that he broke into my house. I could hear him walking around downstairs still as I waited for him to come into my bedroom. I grabbed my phone again. "Aren't you going to come upstairs? I can hear you walking around downstairs. Just come up here already." I sent the message and waited for him to respond. I was starting to get a little annoyed after a minute of waiting. I got up from my bed and went to the doorway. I proceeded to shout downstairs, "Get your ass upstairs already. Stop fucking around." I sat back on my bed as I began to hear him walk upstairs. Suddenly, my phone vibrated again. It was a text message from Ben. "You know I was fucking with you, right?" My heart dropped. I looked up at the doorway to see my killer smiling at me. When she quietly